begin this morning with prayer. This is an affirmative prayer for inspiration. I cleanse the windows of my mind that it may become a mirror, reflecting inspiration from the Most High. I do this not with strenuous effort, but through quiet contemplation, through gently reaching and affirming an inward recognition of good. Today, as I walk in the pathway of inspiration, I know exactly what to do in every situation. There is an inspiration within me which governs every act, every thought, with certainty, with conviction, and in peace. The key that unlocks the treasures of the kingdom of good is in my hand. I unlock the doorway of my consciousness and gently open it that the divine presence may flood my whole being with light, illuminate my being with its radiant flow, and direct my footsteps into the pathway of peace and joy. I give thanks for this wonderful inspiration, and I let it be so. And so it is.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to start us off this morning with a very powerful clip from Reverend Johnny Coleman. Last week I introduced Johnny Coleman as one of the most powerful New Thought ministers within the Unity movement and in the whole New Thought Alliance. And I shared a little excerpt that how she came to Unity when she was given a prognosis of an incurable disease with 6 months to live. And through the power of her consciousness and living word, thought, and action in alignment with truth, she was able to transcend sickness. So just want you to get a little bit of a flavor of her power. And on February 23rd, I will be sharing a more extensive clip that we'll get to celebrate. So I start this morning with this clip.
I am a channel for God, created and brought on this earth for definite reasons. And I must do that in spite of what you think or what you believe or what you continue to say. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. Drive out to 119th Street. Look for yourself. God did it through a channel called Johnny Coleman with your help and your support. I am so happy to have my children stand up here tonight and talk about consciousness. There was a time they were like everybody else. If I said consciousness, the world talked about me upside down. Now they're saying it. Everybody's got to say it because it is the truth. Consciousness is what we are. Consciousness is what I am. Consciousness means awareness. Whatever you are aware of, that's what you have in your life, in your world, and in your affairs. Change your thoughts and you change your world. Because you are the thinker that thinks the thought that makes the thing. If you like what you hear, come back, because that's all you're going to hear up in here.
I'll just leave that now, because it actually goes to what I'm talking about. Awesome, right? Johnny Coleman, like great spiritual teachers, speak with passion and authority. That's all you're going to get up in here, nothing else. And Martin Luther King and Johnny Coleman and other great teachers, the master teacher Jesus, we can go on, can speak with such authority because not only do they intellectually understand truth, but they live truth unapologetically in their lives. There is no space between what they study in truth, what they speak about truth, and what they live. Now, I'm not saying they don't have human moments, but they know about the power of dominion, which is the power of authority and mastery, which is to have keen awareness of consciousness. What we are holding in thought and emotion, how we behave, because what we are holding in belief and emotion, that is the ignition of what we create in our world. You are the thinker that thinks the thought. Although new thought has evolved into the holistic whole part of our beingness, knowing about the wisdom of the heart, knowing about the whole being has the power to create because we are vibrational beings. And so Johnny Coleman teaches us two things to help us have that dominion. You know, every Sunday we talk about one of our 12 abilities, one of our 12 powers. They're always operating in us. But when we are keenly aware of our power of dominion, we get to choose whether we're going to operate from it from a place of smallness, not even letting our subconscious run the show, or if we're going to operate it from the place of truth, that high voltage knowing. And so there's two things we must do to have that dominion of consciousness. And one is that keen awareness, and we must cull, or our power relinquish, the power of those illusions of the mind that dance in our mind, that consume us in action. And then two, we must close that gap between what we say we believe and what we live. I am a channel of God put forth on this earth with a definite purpose and reason. And I will live that with no excuses, despite what you may think, despite if it makes you uncomfortable, and despite how you will treat me. I will live that. So today I'm going to focus on the first part, the culling, or relinquishing the power of illusion. And I want to take time to define it. Now, this is the belief system that I profess. It is part of Unity's belief system, and it may sound different. And so I unapologetically share it with you, take what you like, and leave the rest. Okay? So illusion, in this context, is false perception or beliefs, having false ideas. Now, we have heard illusion used like it's an illusion of the mind. It's not really present. You may have heard things like, the body is just illusion and it's not real. The world, everything in the material world is an illusion and not real. Sickness is an illusion. So I want to just go a little deeper there, because it may be the understanding of how they're applying illusion. If I say that my body is of God, not of God, and it's fake, so to speak, if I'm using it in that context, it flies in the face of three things we profess in the Unity teachings. And again, take what you like and leave the rest. There is one power. Patrice spoke of it. I mean, she sung of it so beautifully today. There is one power. There is one presence, by whatever name you call it. It is the mysterious universal presence, the creator of all life. Everything in this experience and beyond has its creation from God. If that is the case, then my body is an expression of God. Everything is an expression of God. Now, how we create or what we express may not be of that high voltage, build shelter, or we could use it to knock somebody over the head with. It's not about the hammer. It is about consciousness. So that's one contradiction. And when we're living in that this is not real, I deny things that happen in it. And when I deny things that happen in it, I stuff everything that I am wired for. Johnny Coleman again says, I've been put forth. I am a God created, made in the channel of God, created for a purpose and a reason. And so if it was just some mistaken dream that happened, how does that fly in the face of being divinely created? Right? There's a little disconnect. The other thing that it does not connect with is that, again, what I just said, that I'm just here randomly. There's no divinely orchestration to anything I do. And the other thing it has contradiction to, Matthew Kahn, spiritual teacher and author, says you can measure some statement to its spiritual validity whether it has empathy and emotion contained within it, and it's not just an intellectual statement. If I walk over to my son, or the many people who come to me with pastoral care, and I say, don't worry, your sickness is just an illusion. It lacks what? Empathy. Now I understand, yes, my thoughts, my belief in sickness helps to create that experience. Sickness in itself is something brought forth through the collective consciousness. I am not saying that that's not the case. But there's more. There is more. I love you. I see you whole and complete. All of the great masters experience dis-ease of some form. Are they not spiritually awake? I'm just wondering. So I want to tell you about using that definition of false belief, false idea. The biggest false idea or an illusion we dance with in our mind is that we are not of God. We say it, we sing it, but we really don't totally embody it. We have moments of it. What we do believe, stronger, is that we are the collective of all the painful experiences I have. I am my experiences. I am my rejection. I am my abandonment. I am my illness. I am my depression. What I am that gets values not just because I am a divine being, but I must do something, accomplish something, wow people to get their love and approval. So basically, we are hardwired with the illusional virus that I am not created in the likeness and image of God. I am not divine. I am all these other things. I am sick. I am weak. I am defenseless. And that is the biggest illusion or myth that we have in our consciousness. Just show you a little bit example of living it, the space between, okay? I am a beautiful child of God. Get ready to get dressed in the morning. Oh, I don't know if that's going to cover all my bumps and lumps. I don't know if it's going to cling to me. You know, I just gained a couple pounds. I don't know. What will people think? Big space between I am a beautiful divine being and I am beautiful and powerful, lumps and all. We do that. It's just about us noticing that. So I want to also look at how we use the word healing. Falsely. A false idea. And I'd like to share something from that healing, or the false beliefs that we hold about healing is, healing occurs when the change I want happens. Healing is when I get my way. Healing is when I get what I want. Healing is that I'm just a manifester. You know, the law of attraction doesn't go beyond the spiritual context of it. Healing, my friends, is when we close the gap. That what we are saying in truth, I am a channel of God, as Johnny Coleman states, created for a definite reason and brought here forth to share my courage, my strength, my light, my song, my art, whatever it may be. And when we close that gap, that is the healing. It is the healing that happened to Myrtle Fillmore, co-founder of Unity. She got with her whole beingness that. And Johnny Coleman lived that. And I just want to share that sometimes people say, well, you know, once I've awakened consciousness, my life will just be ducky. We are still in the human experience. And what we want to do sometimes with our theories is make that bad. But when you are standing in your wholeness, as the master teacher did, despite all the attacks, despite Martin Luther King and all the attacks, when you are standing in your wholeness, a movement happens. Because people recognize truth. They see it emanating from you, as you. No, yes, spiritual means we are from an awakened consciousness. And no matter who is in my space or what is occurring in my life, I do not detach from my divinity. Regardless of what you say to me, what is going on, there's wars, there's sickness. And we see masters in our world that I've spoken about. Thich Nhat Hanh had a stroke at 90. The Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu, cancer. The Dalai Lama a year ago was hospitalized for an infection. Do we say, oh my God, I wonder where he was holding in consciousness? Or do we recognize that our lives intersect with the human condition? And that as I raise my consciousness, the collective raises their consciousness, we experience heaven right here on earth and not have to wait when we are rid of our bodies. Because our bodies are sacred. You are sacred. Everything is sacred. It is how we view it and see it. So I want to share something also that, I'm recovering from a cold. So I'm not alone. I am there. So Matthew Kahn just shares this about healing. To heal is to reclaim the power of your dignity. Dignity is the ability to believe with your heart, mind, and soul that you are worthy of respect and honor. You are worthy of honor and respect just the way you are, as a unique expression of the universe. Not telling people you're worthy from a consciousness of entitlement or arrogance, but from the natural confidence of the humility of your soul. You know you have not claimed your divine nature and your dignity when you are under the conditioned impression that you have to do something special or spectacular in this world to earn the honor and respect that you have always deserved. From this place, you do not seek labels or specialness, but seek to be the embodiment of an awakened expression of compassion and respect, no matter who comes before you. And in the words of Johnny Coleman, I repeat again, I am a channel of God, created and brought forth on this earth for definite reasons. Say that with me, please. I am a channel of God, created and brought forth on this earth for definite reasons. And now I'd like you to say that with spiritual authority. I am a channel of God. Stop not feeling it. Sorry. I am a channel of God.
I am a channel of God.
Created and brought forth on this earth.
Created and brought forth on this earth.
For definite reasons.
For definite reasons.
And I live with courage.
And I live with courage.
Passion.
Passion.
And authority.
And authority.
And so it is.
And so it is.
And so next week I would like to talk about that second half. How do I close that gap? Right? How do I live that? And there's no magic formula. It's about willing to take a step out in faith. And there is a song that I would like to share that is very moving. It is called How Can Anyone Ever Tell You? And I'm just going to do a brief bit of that for time's sake.
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.